our topic for this afternoon, or this late afternoon, 3:06, is self-care to avoid caregiver burnout. Rule number 1, don't eat until you can't stay awake. Right? So, I'm Dr. Kia Everett, and we're going to talk about self-care, right? We are in a field where we help a lot of people, right? And are you guys familiar with the word transference? Mm-hmm. Yes. So, because we help a lot of people, we come in contact with a lot of people, transference can occur, right? And it is easy for us to take on everybody's stuff, right? And so with that, we're going to talk today about how to help, but take care of ourselves, right? So we learned earlier today about mental health, how to take care of our mental health, as well as identifying it in others, right? When I was in grad school, we took a course, and the name of that course was Self and Others, right? So that was one of our courses that we had to take, learning how to help others, but also learning how to take care of ourselves. So self-care to avoid caregiver burnout. Here I have, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Many of us that are in this field, we are in it not necessarily because of the money, right? But because we want to make a change, we want to make a difference, we want to help people. And so because of that, we find ourselves working until we're either made to stop, somebody makes us stop, or circumstances require that we stop, right? And usually our cup is empty by that point, right? So you cannot pour from an empty cup. My question to you is, who are you? Who are you? Anybody want to answer that? Go ahead.
I am. I am. Is it one word or?
Who are you?
I'm a father. I'm a leader. I'm a husband. I'm a minister. I'm a friend. I'm a brother. I'm a confidant. Yeah.
Okay. Who are you?
Damn near everything he said he is. I'm a man. I'm a man first. I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a leader. I'm a speaker. I'm a spiritual being. I'm a slave of the Creator. The list go on.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer?
They took all of it up, baby.
They took it all up. They being selfish.
No, I think my man to right with that something.
I would add to, like, we all have roles, but I would add, but I'm becoming.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Becoming blah, 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 blah. We'll see.
Okay.
Alright, I got you. I am that I am. I'm all things and new things. I'm the God's son, the son of God. So that means I walk in the light of God like my father. That means I am like my father, which you know what I'm trying to say. Maybe not. But as above, so below.
Okay.
I'm a small piece of the great ocean.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
I'm the man my mom raised me to be. And I'm the man I promised her I would be.
Nice. Anybody else? Okay. So I always like to ask that question because a lot of times we struggle with that. So this is who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm a beautiful black woman who loves who I am because I fight every day to be who I am. I'm a wife. I didn't put that I am a daughter. I'm a mother
like something.
Of 3 beautiful children. And I'm the founder and owner of Finding Your Way LLC, which is the first mental health urgent care center in the Mid-Atlantic region. I'm owner of It's All About Change. I run a nonprofit. I'm the host of Destiny Moments with Dr. K. Was awarded Best Therapist of 2022. I'm an author. And then in ministry, I am, I put the wrong one up there. Affirmed apostle, consecrated bishop, and a senior pastor.
Okay, all right.
All right. So the reason that I gotta delete that. I did pay my money. I had the real one, but that you know, that's the one that people use when they don't pay their money. I did pay my money, but I forgot to delete that. The reason I wanted to do all of that is because when you hold all the different hats and you're doing all the different things, I have 3 young adults. All of them are in college, right? And they all go to, 2 of them go to the same school. One is in grad school and 2 are in undergrad. A wife, a mother, right? A daughter of an aging parent, right? Then I do all of these things for community, right? Plus I run businesses. Self-care is important. This for me is self-care.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right? Because I like to do this. Now, when I get home, then it's gonna be, Mom, can you send me this? Mom, can you send me that? You know, we talked about family that have issues or mental health issues. My husband, we found out during the pandemic, is on the spectrum. He has autism, right? After 20 some years of marriage, we found out that my husband has autism. So when I get home, then I have to deal with what his challenge of autism is going to bring, because I've been away for a couple of days. Right? So then I have to do all of that. So for me, this is self-care. Right? Somebody else, this may not be self-care. Okay? And the reason I'm saying that, we're going to get into it a little bit later. People think getting your hair done, getting your nails done, going to the barber shop is just self-care. No, self-care is so much more than that. Okay? So, self-care, the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. Autonomy and self-care in insulin administration. The practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. Now, I encourage people to take self-care before you get to that stress level. Expressing oneself is an essential form of self-care. Okay? Expressing yourself. Now, not cussing somebody out.
No.
Not that type of expression.
We're gonna learn how to use acronyms.
You're gonna learn different
Sugar honey
phrases.
iced tea.
We're gonna learn different things like we learned earlier, right?
Right.
So we're gonna use words like ninja, right? Sugar honey iced tea. But even not even using those as expression. Well, I'm talking different ways to express yourself, right?
Okay.
So for me, and some people may say, oh, that's just a big waste of time. Sometimes I just get lost on TikTok. Okay. And listen, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I will take a couple, and before you know it, a couple hours have gone by, and I had to say to myself, you know what, kid, this don't make no sense. But just looking at the videos and just cracking up laughing and sending different friends and family members the videos that I think they can relate to, that's a way to relieve myself, right? I make a habit every day, and this is something that I had to say for myself. Every single day, I am going to laugh.
Right.
And when I say laugh, I'm not talking about just a chuckle. I'm going to do a cracked up, gut level laugh. Why? Because laughter is medicine.
That's right.
Okay? So if you don't learn anything else today, learn to laugh.
I just want to say, like, for me, and my mom used to say, you crazy, I don't believe you do that. I would watch reality TV because I think it's so just crazy, some of the stuff they do. And I tend to turn that on and watch that, and I record my shows because I can just zone out, and I don't got to think about nothing. I don't got to worry about nobody's problems. I can just watch that and laugh or whatever I got to do, and it's like, that's my me time.
Yep. So let me just pause for a second. This is my dear sister and friend of over 30 years. And she is my assistant, my right hand, left hand.
What's her name?
And her name is Naymana.
I would call friend. Hi, friend.
The reason I wanted to mention that is because what's my favorite TV show?
With the JJ.
Good Times.
Good Times.
I will take a day and I will binge watch Good Times, and I have seen Good Times a million times. But I will laugh at the same part over and over and over again, right? It's so bad that when I put Good Times on, my family will say, "Oh my God, not Good Times." But I will binge watch Good Times if I just need to laugh.
Yeah,
And one year for Christmas, she bought, before you could stream it, she bought me the series of all season 1, season 2, season 3. And I just sat there and like, on a day like today, I will get a blanket, curl up on the sofa with some hot chocolate and put Good Times. That's self-care. I don't care what anybody say. My husband will say, I think that is just one of the most oppressive shows. And blah, blah. He gets so deep. I'm like, dude, bye. Go ahead. I can watch this just like you watch, what's that, Star Trek with them ugly looking people. Bye. Go ahead. Do that. But for me, I want to watch Good Times, The Jeffersons, what's the Elizabeth, Fred Sanford, and for me, those are self-care, right? And I will laugh at Fred Sanford having a fake heart attack a million times. Right. Because even though it's old TV and it's, back in the day, that's not what I'm dealing with today. You understand what I'm saying? Those are not necessarily the issues that I'm dealing with. So I can laugh at that. Okay? So what's self-care for you? So it's we're expressing of yourself. How to engage in self-care. Self-care means taking time to do things to help you live well and improve both your physical health and mental health. When it comes to your mental health, self-care can help you manage stress, lower your risk of illness, and increase your energy. So when you are feeling lethargic all the time, you should ask yourself, is it time for a self-care day? Eight categories of self-care. So remember I said it's not just going to the nail salon. It's physical, psychological, emotional, social. Remember I said for me this is self-care. So professional, environmental, spiritual, and financial. I'm gonna get to this financial piece a little bit later. Okay? So the 8, and I wanted to say I encourage anybody to take pictures of these slides for later reference.
Hold on, wait. Let me take a picture.
Can I use them?
What you mean?
I'm saying, because I do life skills for him. But one of my topics is self-care, though.
Sure. As long as you give me credit.
I ain't gonna plagiarize it. We'll revert back to
That check.
Yeah.
She said, you better give him credit.
Yeah, always.
Alright. Alright, Doc, we ready.
Each one of the presenters said something.
You said it's 8, right?
Yep.
What you got?
Physical, psychological, social, emotional, environmental, spiritual, financial.
Yep.
What was those?
Two.
That was it. Social. You got social?
Physical, psychological, emotional, social, professional, environmental, spiritual, and financial. You have them all?
Thank you.
Burnout is a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is characterized by 3 dimensions: feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism and cynicism related to one's job. So when you start to feel burned out, right, your morale drops, your energy drops, the way you see your job, the way you see you in your job, you start to hate everybody. I hate this job. I hate these people. My boss make me sick.
I hate the damn kids.
I hate the kids. You hate the kids because they big kids.
My kid told me I got ADHD.
I tell people all the time, why are you hating adolescents for being adolescents? Right? Well, it's time to take a day.
Yeah. When did you decide that, Doc?
When you look around and see that you're hating everything around you and everything about your job. You can usually tell when, you know, your body starts to feel burned out, you're starting to get to a point of exhaustion, your mindset isn't there. And listen, some days you may wake up and just feel like, I just can't do it today. That's a call out. That's a day. And let me I tell people all the time, sick days is, again, not just for physical sickness. A mental health day is a sick day. Because you're not required to say what kind of sickness. I'm sick. I can't do it today.
That's it.
Just on a note though, you can't use mental health isn't considered a part of that until you're seen by a physician as a part of that. So you can't wake up and mentally not be prepared for work and decide you're going to use it for personal mental health day. You got to be diagnosed first in order for that to be determined. So
What do you mean?
when you're using sick time as far as mental health.
That's company to company, ain't it?
Yeah.
No, if you're doing it for one day,
That's your company.
if you're doing a mental health day,
Oh, you're just talking about this day, yeah.
Right.
I get you. Look at that.
okay?
You talking about a leave of absence? You got to
Right.
go to a doctor.
But if you're doing a leave of absence, just like any other leave of absence, yeah, you would have to go to a doctor. But like I'm saying, if you wake up
And just ain't
and
sick
saying,
that day.
okay, this is not a good day, and it's a mental health day,
Yeah.
just like any other day, you wake up and you might have a cough.
I get you, because at my last job, I used to just call them and tell them I have an eye problem. Like, and they used to be like, well, Eddie, what's the eye problem? I say, I ain't coming in.
I was waiting for a job. You got tomorrow Monday.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, I saw this coming. He set you right up. Well, I see it coming. That was good. That was our laughter.
So,
Wake everybody up a little
That
bit.
cough is strong, boy.
right. So, anyway, it's a mental health day. One of the things with my children, I have 3 children, and my son, he went in this school if his head was falling off. Okay, my youngest girl, she struggled a little bit with anxiety, and sometimes she would say, "Mom, this is not a good day," and I would let her in school. No explanation needed. She woke up, she wasn't having a good day. Okay, Take the day off. Now, sometimes if it went into 2 or 3 days, sometimes, and my children went to predominantly white school, the teachers would give her a hard time. And, you know, they would say, well, we need a doctor's note. Okay, no problem. I wrote her a doctor's note. What's the problem? Because if, you know, when we look at a lot of these mass shootings, the signs were there before the triggers were pulled, right? And the signs were missed. So when people say to you, I'm not having a good day, that's the flag number one, okay? I don't know, you may remember, and those of us that are in mental health, it kind of stuck out a few years ago where the social worker committed suicide. I think it was over here in Jersey. And when the story came out, he had been asking for help. But the signs were mixed. You know, as workers, those of us that are in social work, a lot of times when we say we're not having a good day, people blow us off because we're supposed to know how to treat ourselves, right? But when we're not having a good day, our not having a good day could be us dealing with our own stuff. Plus, we had a client that we may have taken on some of their stuff. Plus, you know, we have some family issues, whatever, right? And this particular social worker had been asking for help for a while. Once that story really unfolded.
That's what they said over here. So the brother was asking for help. They
Yeah.
don't want help.
He was asking about the condition of the job. He
Right.
was worried about
He
the
ended up
kids
killing
at
himself.
home. He was like, they wasn't taking kids
He
from homes
worked
that he
in,
recommended.
he was a local office manager
Yeah.
in
Right.
DC.
Yeah.
Killed himself.
So when somebody says they're not having a good day, that's sign number one. Flag number one. Okay? So burnout, and let me say, burnout is real. Especially since COVID, because a lot of people are short-staffed.
Yeah.
All right? So recognizing the signs of burnout, and I have this feelings chart here because a lot of these feelings, you know, you have somebody that's perplexed, somebody that's angry, people that are frustrated. All of those are signs. Okay? Reduced performance and productivity. That's a sign. Anxiety. Detachment. Okay? Low mood. Feeling of listless. They just don't really want to be there. Low mood. Difficulty concentrating. Lack of creativity. Slouching. Fatigue. Just to name a few.
Can I add something?
Sure.
What I found out in education and working with young adults, working with kids, and working with, I call regular adults, just bigger kids, is a lot of us do not know how to even name feelings or emotions. I didn't realize there were so many kids that only knew angry, happy, or sad. We all need to be familiarized with the other emotions, the other feelings, and then being able to, you know, express them, but identify them across the board.
That's why one of the things that, I don't know if I can interject, one of the things that we want to push for, and we got to get to that capacity, the goal is for us to work a 4-day work week. Those extended days when you're in the people business and become exhausted, and you know, Doc, I'm speaking to the choir here, been doing this for over 20 years, we dealing with people problems every single day. It becomes a lot. And you have to find a balance. And when you're working from Monday through Friday, and sometimes your Friday might end at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, ain't no balance.
Saturday and Sunday, it's over. The weekends come quick. And you barely have time for yourself and for your own family and to even really unpack. So that's why our goal was to eventually get to that 4-day work week, which will be Monday through Thursday. So you can actually enjoy that weekend, enjoy some time with your family, enjoy your pay on pay week, like be able to go shopping if you want to Friday morning when you wake up versus I can't wait to get off work, or the anxiety of trying to catch the bank and pay all your bills Friday after 4 or after 5. It's just that vacuum that we're in here in our country. In America, it's like we spend 5 days a week at work and we spend 1.5 days to refresh ourselves. And if you're working at a job where you get a 30-minute lunch, it's even worse. Like, and then if you commute to work for another hour, it's even more. So it's about finding that balance. But it goes back